Hi friends, it's Miss J. I'm peeking in at the corner again because I remember last week our video was a little bit far back and I wanted you to see the words a little bit closer this week so that you can make sure, I wanted to make sure that you could see everything really well. So you might not see me in the camera, but this is the more important part. I wanted you to be able to see all the pictures and all the words really well. So we're going to be reading this story this week called Oscar and the Frog. And there's another title underneath that says A Book About Growing. And this is all about all the things that we're doing in our life that keeps us growing. As we get older, we get bigger, we lose teeth. And the same thing happens with animals. They also grow. And so we're going to be learning about Oscar and the frog. Now I see the frog here, so Oscar must be his buddy Pale right here, the kitty, the cat that's in the story. And this story was written by Jeff Waring, and that is the author. When we talk about who it's written by, that is called the author, okay? And so we have some vocabulary words that I want you to know ahead of time. So maybe when you're hearing the story today, you will listen for these important words. These words, knowing the definition of these words will help you to understand the story a little bit better. So let's go through the words. Are you ready? The word is bank. You say it, bank. Now, this is not the bank where your mom and dad put all their money, but this is the bank of the river. And let me get a little bit closer. This is the area on the water where the sand might be, or where you might go to a river and stand on the bank of the river, but it's just before the water. That's the bank. Okay, let's say the next word. The word is shrink, and here's a picture right here. Do you know all about Mario? Does he shrink or get smaller? That's what this word means, shrink. Gills. Can you say the word gills? Gills. I bet you already know what the gills are, but here is a picture of a shark, and I like this picture because you could really see the gills. That's how fish and other animals breathe underwater. They have gills or little slits in their skin so they can breathe. All right. Next word, tadpole. Whoops, I got a little close there. Tadpole. You say it, tadpole. Here is a picture of a real tadpole. It's so cool. I have a feeling we're going to be saying that word a lot in the story. This is the word hatch. You say it, hatch. And look at that little chick hatching right out of that egg. That means to break out or come out of a shell, hatch. And last but not least is the word stared. Stared. You say it, stared. And this girl, this lady is staring. Have you ever had a stare down or stared at somebody? Yeah. I always end up losing those stare downs. All right, so we have this story called Oscar and the Frog. Now, I'm going to try to read the story a little bit closer to the camera so that you can see the pictures better today, okay? So remember, I'm still learning, okay? So be patient with Miss J. All right, here's another title page, Oscar and the Frog. Now, it says here in the title, A Book About Growing. So I think it's really important to remember that when you read a story like this, or you see a cover like this, even though it's drawn and it kind of looks like cartoon, that doesn't mean that the story won't be informational. This is definitely an informational story this week, and I bet you'll be able to tell because there's lots of information that is true. Informational stories, or they're also called nonfiction stories, are true stories that give you real information that are facts and are true, okay? So here we go. Can you see what she's looking at? There's Oscar. See the water there? Here's the page. One spring day by the pond, Oscar saw some creatures he had not seen before. Frog hopped up. "They're tadpoles," Frog said. "I was a tadpole before I grew up." Oscar stared at the frog. He didn't look like a tadpole at all. "Don't be silly, Frog," Oscar said, laughing. "Ha It's true, Frog said. Let me fold it in half here. It's true, Frog said, and he told Oscar how frogs grow. At first, I looked like a dot in an egg. The egg was as soft as jelly. I grew in the egg, then hatched out as a wriggly tadpole. I could breathe underwater through gills like a fish. I was hungry for pondweed. It helped me to grow. Later, my gills disappeared as I grew lungs to breathe air with. I grew back legs, then front legs, and my tail started to shrink. See it shrinking? After 3 months, I was a little frog. I kicked my new legs and jumped out of the water to live on the bank. What else hatches out of eggs? Oscar asked. They looked in the pond. Frogs showed Oscar some eggs that had been laid underwater. Many water snails lay their eggs in pouches of jelly on stones or plants. Do you see them there? Dragonflies often lay their eggs on a plant stem just below the water. Do you see those little eggs right there? Fish lay lots of eggs. The perch winds hers in long threads around plants, twigs, or stones. Do you see those there? How they're weaving